So today we are continuing our theme this month, Holy, Holy Uprising. You were afraid I was going to say something else, weren't you?
Yep.
Holy, Holy Uprising. And we began the month by discussing that as consciousness evolves, we're being called forth into a love revolution.
A love revolution.
I
love that.
Not just a political revolution,
Right.
but a spiritual revolution as well. A holy, holy uprising. So it's time to rise up and take a stand for love. To rise up and take a stand for the embodiment of this principle of oneness. Not just talking about it with our spiritual platitudes, but to actualize our spirituality in our everyday lives through how we show up as love, through the willingness to be vulnerable, to be present with one another, with ourselves, and to choose kindness and peace and compassion and love.
Kindness is underestimated.
It really is. It really is. So expressing the divine in the way that only we can as a unique individualization of the one. So that is how we bring about this holy, holy uprising. And then the second week, we had the wonderful special guest, Reverend Mark Anthony Lord, and he shared his thoughts on a love revolution. And then last week was our pet blessing.
Pets.
Yes, this too is God, and we got to be present with our pets on Zoom, and it was just a beautiful and very fun service as well. So make sure you go back and check out. All the replays are on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there and share the love. So today, Reverend Soni is going to kick us off, and our topic today is boldly living a new story.
Boldly living a new story. You know what? I want to start with asking a question.
All right.
You know, what stories about our individual and collective past do we continue to tell over and over and over again? And be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. How many stories from the past are you still telling? Because we know that most of them are not life-affirming stories. And what if this Sunday we commit to changing that narrative? What if we find that love that we're talking about, that self-love? Imagine being so bold as to truly embody spiritual principle, and love is a spiritual principle, and create our lives from our connection to the universe, to spirit, to God, to whatever, rather than from our old worn-out stories. What would that feel like to really create your life from love? You know, here's the deal. The soul, being the seat of memory, already contains a record of everything that has ever happened in our lives. And these memories, as a whole, constitute the subjective tendency of the individual life. This tendency can be changed through constant effort. So what do I mean by that? Is that we can change our stories.
Yay.
From this moment on, because guess what? The past is the past.
Yes.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Break it down.
Break it down. We have all kinds of stories. Just think about it. We have all kinds of stories, fill-in-the-blank stories, make-believe stories, stories about ourselves and stories about other people, whether we know them or not.
True.
We can make up stories about people in line at a grocery store. I do that.
Yes.
You did? Am I alone on this?
Oh, goodness.
We can make up stories about people in line at a grocery store or a bank or on their Facebook page. Especially this past year. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the internet has gone bonkers with stories. We have stories, and we have plenty of them, and most of them aren't true.
Say it.
You can think about it this way. Whenever our lives change, like for example, when we're starting a new job or we're out of work or business, we start a new business or trying to change a habit.
Oh, goodness.
Leaving doing something, leaving somebody, or even burning the toast. The truth is we tell ourselves a story about it. I burnt the toast, man. You should have, this is what, you burnt the toast. That's the fact. We might be, in our stories that we create, we might be the hero, we might be the victim, we might be the wrongdoer, the innocent bystander. I was just standing there while the toast was burning, you know what I'm saying? Or the observer of our story. Look at that toast burn. Wow. But in our stories, you see, we want to be the hero more often than we want to be the victim. And our stories involve not believing. Most of our stories, now I really want you to be honest and think about this. Most of our stories involve not believing in ourselves and not believing that we're able to accomplish what we set out to do, or what our continual calling may be. That thing that won't leave us alone. So we talk ourselves out of it. We really do. Most of us, most of what we call failures in our lives start with the negative stories we tell ourselves, and they stand in their way. And I'm not standing up here being Miss Positive Pollyanna, but we do have negative stories about ourselves, and if we don't have enough negative stories, we can count on somebody to have a negative story. Why do you want to start that business? You'll never be successful at that.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Everyone has their opinions.
Why do you want to be a singer or a musician? You need to go get a good job. You need to go make money and have a career. So if we don't have enough stories for ourselves, trust me, other people will. So those failures that those things in our lives that we're calling failures are those negative stories. And how often, I don't know about you, but I daydream a lot. And I can see, how many of us can sit staring out the window while our mind is chatting away? You know what I'm saying? Our mind, it goes through things like, it's okay to quit. It doesn't matter. You'll do it the next time. I'm not disciplined enough. I suck at this. I can't do it. It's too hard. I don't want to do it that way. It would be nice to take a break. Life is too short to struggle. I deserve a reward. I deserve that piece of pie, right? Just this once, it won't matter. I know that I'm going to fail anyway, so it's better to fail quietly so no one knows. I just don't feel like doing it right now. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't want to think about this. Hey, a squirrel, right? That's how my mind works. Does anybody else's mind work like that? Yeah. So when we have a topic such as the one that we're talking about this morning, boldly living a new story, it means we have to become aware of the stories that we tell ourselves. The stories that we're creating, we're creating them in our mind, but we're also creating them in our lives. For example, let's talk about the internet for just a second.
All right.
Human beings aren't meant to operate like computers, continuously at high speeds for long periods of time, running multiple programs at the same time. And sometimes we've had to do that, especially in this last year. Where do we disengage? We're always on the computer, on Zoom, one meeting to the next. We are designed to pulse, to move rhythmically and easily between spending and renewing energy.
I like that idea of pulse.
Yes, exactly.
The heartbeat.
The heartbeat.
Ebb
right
and
there.
flow.
Ebb and flow. And that's what we're designed and who we're designed to be. But guess what? We don't do it.
Yeah.
How many times are we told to get up and take a break, but we don't do it?
Yeah.
And the reason we don't do it is because we have too many ways to communicate with each other. Too easily about very little, right? too easily about very little that really matters.
Right,
Think
right.
about it. Tweet, tweet, tweet. The result is that we live in a world of utterly fractured attention. The more hours we spend plugged in without real renewal, the more we begin to default mechanically into behaviors that diminish our spirit, into those old stories, and take a negative toll on others, such as impatience, frustration, anxiety, and distraction. And the more we begin to believe in the stories we see on the internet. We are so distracted because we are anticipating the next electronic communication rather than being present, fully present where we are, and we're increasingly unable to concentrate our energy or spirit on any one person or any one activity, much less being aware of the stories that are going on in the back of our head 24/7. We are no longer listening to our souls. We are unable to figure out what is real anymore. I mean, really, I cannot tell you how many conspiracy theories people I know have insisted are true.
Yeah.
Stories that, even if they have been disproven, are still circulating and drawing people in. And these stories are like a magnet, attracting individuals ready to swear by them and ready to die by them. And 99% of them are not life affirming. 99% of them are not based in anything provable, and certainly are not based in principle. Everyone wants to belong to something.
Yes, that's at the root. Sense of belonging.
Everyone wants to belong to something. You know, we want to be the hero in our stories. But the truth is, ironically, all this energy that's directed towards being connected in life through our stories often leaves us feeling emptier and lonelier and less connected.
Yeah.
Tweeting and texting may keep us up to date on everything, but they're a poor substitute for real connection. And so what happens is we make up stories to excuse ourselves for our disconnection.
Yeah, you know, someone told me once, if you're going to make up a story, might as well make it a good one.
Yeah.
Right? We're just making up it anyway. But so often we don't, right? And our minds are hardwired to go to the negative, that kind of default status quo thinking. And even though we desire that deep connection, the tendency is to judge ourselves and compare ourselves to other people's portrayal of themselves. Again, not even comparing ourselves to other people, but how they choose to portray themselves.
Exactly.
And what stories they are choosing to present to the world. Then we look at that as some kind of truth or ideal and either judge ourselves as not good enough or better than or somewhere in between. And this is actually causing more disconnection, as you said, even though it may seem like the desire is to connect and to, you know, have more connections online and other places. But what are we really connecting to? That's the question. It's like, what are we really connecting to? Am I connecting to the source of all being, of all life that lives within me and that is expressing within this other individual? Or am I connecting to the story, the sensationalism, the projection?
The pedestal.
The pedestal.
That we put them on.
Yes, yes. Please don't put us on a pedestal. I don't want to fall.
Me neither. and the bigger the pedestal, the taller the pedestal, the further we fall.
Yes, yes. So we are always in our mind kind of filling in those gaps and making up stories based on these little bits of information we have everywhere. So again, taking this idea of social media, we see a post, we see a meme, we see a text. We don't have the full context of the story. And instead of actually engaging in a deeper conversation or reaching out or getting curious, often we just make assumptions, fill in those gaps with the stories as our mind just kind of runs free, and then that all of a sudden in our mind becomes this solid truth. So boldly living a new story means we have to give up what we have been telling ourselves most of our lives. What we've been telling ourselves, about other people, about the world. And as you said, Reverend Sonny, this first takes awareness. So we have to pay attention to those stories we're making up, to pay attention to the messages that we are constantly bombarded with through various media and things that we see and overhear. I mean, now it's even like, bumper stickers and signs on the road everywhere. We're just constantly being bombarded with various messages, as well as to pay attention to those voices in our own mind. And what I mean by that is every now and again, notice if a voice comes back of your kindergarten teacher or that second grade music teacher or a previous boss or a previous relationship, whatever it may be, our friends, our family, we're always, taking in this information. But to notice, are we filtering somehow what we are about to do or say or experience based on someone else's voice that we have allowed to reside in our mind? And in order to pay attention, we must first slow down. Slow down. And in that slowing down, yes, we had some people taking a breath. Taking that breath, and even that 2 seconds that we breathe can create the space to be able to challenge the narrative that we are receiving, to be able to challenge that thought that we are hearing in our mind, to notice it. And then at that point, choose, is this the story I am choosing to write for myself today? In order to be a part of this holy, holy uprising, this love revolution, we must challenge those stories and be able to ride that tide of a new consciousness, a new level of awareness, one that is based on love and compassion, kindness, peace, joy, wholeness, and oneness. Fred Luskin, from his book, Forgive for Good, says, if you can view your mind as your house, it can teach you to control how much space you rent to your wounds and grievances.
Ooh, that's heavy.
You are the proprietor and you set the rent. So how much room are you willing to give up in your mental house for those past wounds and upsets? How much space are they taking up in your mental house? And are you willing to first pay attention, to notice, and then to evict those that no longer serve?
A victim.
Those that no longer serve your highest good or the good of the evolution of consciousness. But the fear is when we start talking about letting go of our stories and letting go of the past and various things.
Oh, I can't.
The fear is we'll lose a sense of self or identity, right? But that's made me who I am. And if we give up our attachments and our beliefs and control, then who are we really? If we let go of those stories, who are we really? So I want to invite you now just to take a moment and turn within. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. You may even want to put your hands on your heart, whatever kind of helps you just to close out those outside senses and to listen to that inner guidance. And take a deep breath. and ask yourself, who am I really? Without the stories, without the judgments, without the past. Who am I really? Who am I really? Who am I really? And take another breath. And as you open your eyes, now you get to decide. Who do you desire to be now? Raymond Charles Barker from The Power of Decision says, all creation starts with desire. God desired self-expression and the cosmos was born. The desires of your heart are the possibilities that can be manifested in your experience. So taking that moment to breathe, to listen, to get in touch with that divine guidance of who am I really? And then from that place, choosing, deciding, what does your heart desire? What does my heart truly desire? And then taking that conscious action towards that desire. In each and every moment, we are always at choice. We can carry around the luggage and the baggage of our past, allowing them to take up space in our mental house rent-free, or we can choose to look at the past, to acknowledge what has occurred that led us to this now moment, and then decide today to release, to let go of any meaning that we've made of various circumstances and just stand in the truth of the I am that I'm here to be and to express right now. It's easy to kind of get caught up in the day-to-day living and all the decisions and choices that we make and just live by those kind of default patterns, and in which we forget to actually pay attention that we are conscious creators. So the invitation this week is to wake up, to pay attention, to give thanks for this gift called life that we get to live, that we get to experience, that we are still allowed to be here right now. We are all here. We all woke up this morning. So that is an invitation. That is a gift. So this week, I invite you to acknowledge the past as the past.
As the past.
We don't deny it. What happened, happened. And to honor that who you are today is a result of what has occurred in your life. Yes,
correct.
We are present to that. To give thanks for those old stories, for the old learning and the growth and all that has come from that. And then to begin to embrace this now moment, this place of choice, this opportunity to choose that which our heart desires to be expressed. This is the time, this is the place, this is your moment. So allow it to unfold perfectly through you, moment by moment. To pay attention, choose love. To pay attention and choose love. Oh, something happened. Pay attention. Choose love. Remembering that what if it's not about having a bold new story, but instead it's simply about remembering. Just like the lilies in the fields, they neither toil nor spin. From this place, you need not toil or spin or be anxious to create that bold new story, but simply be here now and allow it. Allow it by paying attention and choosing love. Paying attention and choosing love. So I leave you with this quote from Raymond Charles Barker. Check your thinking, even the past hour. It will reveal where you stand in the hallways of your mind. So let's take it into prayer. Taking that nice deep breath right here, right now. Recognizing the allness of God. universal presence, universal spirit, love, the divine, whatever word you choose to represent, to articulate that space between, that energy that is connecting us all as wholeness, knowing that there is only one divine activity, this one thing that is pulsing through us, the very breath that breathes us. This is the one life. This is the first cause of all creation. So I stand in this truth right here, right now, in this place of pure awareness, recognizing the one. And knowing if there is only one divine activity, that this must be the very life, the very essence of who I am. That this one life is expressing in, as, and through me right here, right now. So I take this breath of realization, recognizing the one life as this energy, as love, as wholeness, as peace, as oneness. And knowing this very truth of my being, I take this moment to listen, to pay attention, to notice the deep desire of my heart, and to consciously choose to live in alignment with, taking inspired action from this place of oneness, from this true source of connection. Knowing that in life, when there may be times of feeling the disconnection or desiring that sense of belonging and connection, that I am always tuned in, tapped in, and sourced by the one. That I can lean into this life energy, knowing that it is having its way in, as, and through me right here, right now. That there is only one life, and this life is expressing as me now. That I am whole, perfect, and complete. Everything I need and desire is right here within. For I live in this consciousness of pure potentiality. And there is no need to fret or toil. I simply rest easy in the knowing that this life is having its way right here, right now. And I choose to stay awake. I choose to pay attention. And I choose to know and actualize love. To love and be loved. To ask in each and every moment, what would love do now? What would kindness do now? What is the most loving thing I can say or be or do for myself and the world right here, right now? And allowing this love to be the guiding force in my life. Knowing that the past has no power over me from this moment forward. I see it for what it is. Just the facts, ma'am. And I step in the full power of who I really am right here, right now, to create the next moment as the one, as love, as wholeness, as peace, as joy. So I just take a deep breath. So grateful for this opportunity to recognize the truth. So grateful as I pass my word to Reverend Soni.
Just allowing the words that Reverend Rainbow has already spoken wash over me. Knowing that all of life, all of creation starts with a desire, I know that right here and right now, this desire is creating out of itself. And so I stand in that place of knowingness for each and every soul, each and every person within the sound of my voice, knowing that whatever is going on in each and everyone's life, that there is a greater truth to be known. And so I stand in that gap of greater truth, the spaces in between where we find grace in each other. I know that right here and right now, anyone who may be having challenges or difficulties, that the greater truth to be known is that God is right where I am, God is right where you are. And nothing can ever take that away. And so any stories that may be created in that feeling of lack or limitation, that new stories can be created from that place of fullness, of wholeness, of realization, of knowingness, that there is only one power and presence, and that is truly Spirit operating. For you are the place that God operates in the world. You are the place, I am the place where God seeks expression in the world. And so I am so grateful to know this truth. So grateful for the words of this prayer from Reverend Rainbow. Grateful for this community. Grateful for each and every soul that is here. And so it is through that gratitude that I simply release this word into the perfect universal law, knowing that the law always says yes. The law always says yes. It always says yes. I stand in the power of yes, the place of grace, by saying Shalom, Hamdalela, Ashe, Namaste. This prayer is done. I leave it knowing it is so, and so it is. Amen.
So it is.